boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children, all ages, Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things nerdy theory, common sense lens. And, you know, we've talked about it a lot on this channel when it comes to these movies and these creatives and these actors and these actresses. And one of the reasons why they end up tanking so many things and why they destroy so many wonderful IPs and all of that kind of stuff. And a lot of it always ends up coming down to ego and narcissism, right? They think they know better. They think they're the bestest ever thing that has ever come on the planet out there, and they are smarter and better and faster than anyone that has ever come before them. They can be like the Most High, boys and girls. They can rewrite the world in their own image. And the reality of that actually generally turns out to not be true in any way, shape, or form. It's great to have a dream. It's great to strive for that kind of thing. But when your ego and your narcissism literally endangers other people's lives, it is a major issue. And boys and girls, I didn't think this is something that would come up surrounding Disney Snow White. But good old Rachel Zegler, not only did all of her horrible press completely and totally tank that movie and made it literally impossible for that thing to even sniff at a profit. It'll be a miracle if it hits $200 million globally, boys and girls. Well, guess what? Not only did it cost Disney hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office, but it also cost Disney a bunch of extra money because they had to hire private security for Gal Gadot and her family of 4 children because of all of the insane things Rachel Zegler was saying on posts that were supposed to be promoting the Disney Snow White live-action remake. And color us shocked there. Even when Disney executives themselves, producers from the film, went to talk to her about it, she flat out told them no, that she was not going to delete the post. And it ended up costing Disney more money than just at the box office. This is absolutely insane, boys and girls. And this shows you exactly how much ego and narcissism this woman has, quote unquote woman, has, because she literally was endangering other people's lives, children's lives, and even then would not back down on the rhetoric. So boys and girls, we're going to check out this article from thatparkplace.com, getting all of the juicy details of exactly what is going on with this and what Variety, this information comes from Variety, boys and girls. This isn't like some of WW Pro's inside sources. This was published in a Variety article. But of course, we'd much rather give the time and energy to, and obviously the spotlight on thatparkplace.com. So before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. We just crossed 1,600. We're inching our way closer and closer to 17, and I'd really appreciate you smashing that subscribe button to join us over here on this wonderful little adventure that we're having. And also, let us know what you think about all this in the comments section down below. Does it surprise you that a magazine article like Variety is actually reporting on this kind of information? Does it surprise you in any way, shape, or form that Disney did actually have to hire this kind of security because of the crazy political activism of Rachel Zegler? Let us know what you think about all that in the comments section down below. And if you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description as well. All right, from thatparkplace.com and our dear sweet Montanero. Rachel Zegler reportedly put Gal Gadot and her children at risk with online activism and refused to back down. Disney forced to hire security for mother of 4. That's just absolutely insane. That is just absolutely insane. The Snow White saga of Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot just exploded on the pages of Variety of all places. In a shocking revelation that somehow managed to slip through the filter of legacy media spin, Variety has confirmed what many already suspected. Rachel Zegler's reckless behavior didn't just tank Disney's Snow White PR campaign, it directly endangered her co-star Gal Gadot and Gadot's family, including her 4 children. And when the studio asked her to take responsibility, she flat out refused. This is insane. They told her this, and still it did not matter. So let's walk through what Variety quietly buried in their recent profile of Snow White's behind-the-scenes implosion. On August 12th, 2024, just minutes after thanking fans for driving Snow White's trailer to 120 million views, which of course, without mentioning the stunning dislike ratio, literally every single trailer for this movie got dislike ratioed into oblivion. It wasn't even close, boys and girls. It was abysmally bad. Zegler added a postscript on social media saying, "Always remember, free Palestine." Oh yes, boys and girls, the latest talking point. Literally, but it's so funny to watch like LGBTQ alphabet soup mafia stuff from Palestine, because it's like you really literally realize what they would do to you over there, right? If you acted in your like absolutely carnal ways that you do here in the United States, where there's no laws against it in the most cases, like you literally realize what they would do if you even held hands or hugged or did any of the kind of stuff that you guys like to do in your parades out there, what they would do do to you over there with those people? Yeah. It's like the mental gymnastics these people have to go through to like literally justify being on both sides of two literally opposing ideologies in every shape or form are absolutely insane. Because I guarantee you, Rachel Zegler, if asked, is fully in support of the LGBT community. I guarantee you can find some posts out there from her doing that. Yeah, like I said, the LGBT community would not have a very good time in quote-unquote Palestine. That single sentence, unrelated to the film, unprompted, and entirely unnecessary, instantly went viral. The statement quickly garnered over nearly 9 million views, far more than the original promotional post. Obviously, that would make Disney very upset because you're overshadowing the promotional post that you're contractually required to with your political nonsense, right? That's the problem with it. We don't care about it. They don't care if you present your politics on your own personal stuff, but when you're literally doing it on any promotional post for their stuff, that's a problem. When the statement quickly garnered far more than the original promotional post. While Zegler's defenders tried to frame it as a harmless act of political expression, insiders at Disney weren't so cavalier. According to Variety, studio executives were shocked by the post and immediately raised concerns with her team. Producer Mark Platt even flew to New York to speak to Zegler directly. He asked the young star to take the post down. They reportedly wanted her to show some discretion, protect the film's campaign, and more importantly, protect the people involved. Zegler's response? No. I mean, he literally got on a plane. I guarantee you had to gas up some private plane for Disney, which does not come cheap, right? Especially if it's like an unscheduled, not planned kind of thing. You're just hopping on a plane to go over there because you got to talk to this crazy chica and be like, what are you doing, lady? What are you doing? This isn't going to work. You're going to ruin it. You're going to make things even worse than they already are. And it did. What did we get? Like a $43 million opening box office weekend domestically? I don't know, like $250 million reported budget, right? There is no chance that movie makes any profit. And guess what? The majority of the fault absolutely lies on Zegler and her big fat mouth. I mean, obviously, you know, the girl from The Little Mermaid, like obviously a lot of people had issues with the race swap and all that kind of stuff. I got an issue with the race of the redheads in general, but like the chick, she didn't say anything bad. Like she was generally pretty sweet in all the PR and all the marketing and all that kind of stuff. She was very kind. There really wasn't any kind of dumb things she said. And that movie still ended up making $500 million. Now it did still lose money, but it did make $500 million at the box office. Rachel Zegler's Snow White isn't even going to come close to that because she's an insufferable little twat waffle that nobody can stand. And that refusal came at a cost, a very real one. While Rachel Zegler basked in the glow of her online activism, her co-star Gal Gadot, who is Israeli, suddenly found herself facing a spike in threats, including threats of harm targeting her and her 4 children. According to Variety, Disney had to hire private security for Gadot, a mother, to ensure her safety. Yeah, all because Zegler couldn't keep her politics out of the Disney promotional posts. That's insane. And obviously, if Disney is saying to Variety that they had to hire all of this stuff, then yeah, that's Disney, as far as they're concerned, she is the reason it happened. Let's be clear. Zegler wasn't asked to renounce her beliefs. According to Variety, she was simply asked to separate them from a billion-dollar studio film aimed at children. She was asked to remove a post that was causing undue distress and legitimate threats of physical harm against a family with young children. And according to Variety, she chose not to. People's lives were affected because of it. This wasn't speaking truth to power. It's an ego-fueled activism at the expense of others. Like I said, narcissism, ego, pride before the fall. Anyone? And what's truly astounding is that the revelation comes from Variety, a media outlet not exactly known for holding Disney stars accountable. When Variety starts breaking ranks and reporting that Zegler endangered her co-star and refused to correct course, you know the dam is breaking. Or perhaps the call came from inside the house and Disney has decided to throw Zegler under the bus in the wake of the film's disastrous opening weekend. That's 100% it. Disney is done with Rachel Zegler. She will never work for the House of Mouse ever again. She's a loose cannon that can't be trusted. And guess what? Every other studio out there is seeing this happen. No one else is going to hire her either because they don't want her endangering any franchise. That's why literally the only thing she's got right now is going back to Broadway. Like that's the only spot she's going to have any kind of success whatsoever. Her star has officially fallen, even though I think many of us would argue it should have never been rising to begin with. But hey, she was Hollywood's new it girl until she literally tanked what should have been a billion-dollar movie. Yeah, how's that? I'm pretty sure that was the House of Mouse's decision. Executives were like, yeah, we're done with her. Throw her under the bus. This is all her fault. Let's not get ourselves blamed. Let's blame her. You're over, Zegler, especially at Disney. It wouldn't be the first time the Hollywood trades were used to push studio narratives. That's basically like a day-to-day basis, right? Pretty much like every single day. How many of those reported budgets of the trades magazine, and then we get the actual numbers and they're way off? Yeah. Zegler's team has tried to frame her as the next Disney darling, a progressive icon who represents the future. But what kind of future are we talking about when the lead actress of a family film knowingly ignores safety concerns, endangers her castmates and their children, and defies the studio funding her career? Well, that would be the egocentric and narcissistic kind that what a lot of these Hollywood elites raise their children to be. Because, yeah, guess what? Zegler grew up in Hollywood. This is the product of a California raising of inside literally the homestead of the cult of the spirit of the age, boys and girls. Gal Gadot, meanwhile, has said nothing publicly. Like a professional, she's kept her head down and done her job, despite needing security guards to do it. And this isn't speculation anymore. This is on the record, reported by the same outlet that's been carrying water for Zegler and Disney since this debacle began. If you ever needed proof that Zegler is a liability, not an asset, here it is. She trashed the 1937 original, mocked the prince, dismissed the story's legacy, injected political firebombs into promotional cycle, and now we know. She risked real harm to a colleague and stood by it. No remorse, no retraction, just the same smug refusal to read the room. Color us shocked. Boy, it's awful kind of weird isn't that she's a complete and total egocentric narcissist. Oh, color us shocked there. Rachel Zegler didn't just tank Snow White, she scorched the earth on her way down. And with Snow White already a box office failure, Disney now has to reckon with a far uglier truth. This wasn't just a bad movie, it was a PR disaster with lead actresses who endangered her castmates and refused to course correct. This is no longer just a story about poor ticket sales, it's about character, it's about accountability. And if Disney is still pretending Zegler's the face of the next generation of their brand, they better get ready to pay a lot more for security. And no, she's done. Her career at Disney is completely and over. You don't tank what should have been a pretty easily billion-dollar movie if done properly, right? If she would have just kept her mouth shut, if she would have just respected the original source material, didn't make a bunch of snide comments about how it's so out of date and ours is going to be so modern and it's going to be so political. It's going to be she's going to be her own woman and yada, yada, yada. And then, of course, she decided to stick her politics right in the middle of everything because these people think their politics and the great things they're doing for the world trump every single other thing out there, including the security of a woman with 4 kids. That is absolutely insane. And you know what? Like I said, if Variety itself is coming out there and putting this information kind of in the public, this is coming directly from Disney. This is coming directly from Disney insiders. This is the narrative they want to run with, and Disney is going to keep going out there and having more articles written about Rachel Zegler and this being completely and totally her fault. They are throwing her under the bus, which means her career at the Walt Disney Company is officially over. She will be no next generation face of anything except for maybe a Broadway salad. Who remember that one time she started in a couple of movies that opened in the box office? Remember when they thought she was going to be a Disney princess? Yeah, how'd that work out for you? It cost the Walt Disney Company hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office, hundreds of thousands of dollars in extra security costs, if not more. And the best part about it all is it cost Rachel Zegler her career. So if nothing else, boys and girls, take solace in that because she put her foot in her mouth and now it's cost her everything.